language instruction for reading in elementary schools.
Is that for
all of them.
all? So you have 20 seconds to.
Well, I'm in favor of whole language instruction, and I would believe in immersion in English. I think that's the most successful way of doing any kind of instruction.
Is that it?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Thank you for the question. Glad to be here. Whole language in elementary school. We actually just passed a really comprehensive ELL plan for the school district. We've been working on it for just about 9 months, worked a lot with West Ed, who is known all over the country for being the best at what they do. And
Time. 20
so
seconds. Finish up.
it's very important to us to make sure that our ELL students have a really good grasp of the English language as well.
I would agree that.
Is your microphone turned on? Can you check on that, please? Is it?
You're really close.
All right, there you go.
Okay. I would agree that we absolutely need to support our ELL students and make sure that teachers and school support structure systems are in place. And I'm pleased with what the board passed just the other day for ELL students.
Okay, next panelist.
Hi, I'm Scott LaFata with Conservatives for Energy Freedom. My question revolves around, there's been a lot of talk during the presidential debates about eliminating the Department of Education and specifically around Common Core. Can you each one just give us 30 seconds each on it? We'll start with
Maybe get 20 seconds, sir.
Oh, you get 20 seconds.
20 seconds.
It'll be tough
We only get a minute. We only
Well,
get a minute.
I
Remember.
think it's pretty easy. I think the federal government should not be involved in education. I believe it should all belong to the state level.
Okay, thank you, Richard. Deanna?
I think that it's actually more complicated than 20 seconds, but I don't believe that the federal government should necessarily set standards. What I do like about our Nevada academic content standards is that now we are being judged on an even playing field with other states. So before you didn't have any idea when somebody got a diploma what that meant, and now we're all equal.
I would say as a college access professional, I've counseled a lot of students along the path to college, and in the past, a student with a degree from Clark County did not equate to a student who had graduated from a state like Maryland, and so I appreciate what the state has done to improve standards for our students.
My name is Robert Faust. Thank you for being here today. My question is for all three of you. We'll start with Mr. Vaughan. What do you think that the Clark County School District needs to do to stimulate to stop the improper relationships with teachers and students? Would you vet the teachers better, or would you come up with some sort of a program saying teachers and students can't be alone together?
Well,
20 seconds.
There's only one step higher to go with the FBI fingerprint cards. We do a pretty good job, I think. But with 19,000 teachers in the district or more, something's always going to slip in under the wire. I don't care how good it is. We see it with police departments, we see it in the military, we see it in every facet of life.
Okay. Go ahead.
I think Richard's very right. We do an extensive background check. I think that the one thing we could do is if we continue to have better funding from the state, we could have lower class sizes, which would have less adults in rooms with kids and more eyes on campuses. And that's really what it's about watchful eyes.
I would say that oftentimes technology or policy is not up to date with technology, and I agree that our vetting process at the moment, considering the amount of employees in this district, it's pretty impressive, but perhaps we need to do a little bit further training on relationships through social media and other aspects like that.
My name is Pamela Caton. I represent Evolution Travel. Thank you for being here today with us. Let me see. I had two questions. Which one did I want to go with? Okay, as far as technology is concerned, you know, I come from the Silicon Valley, and the kids in grade school are learning so much. They're so advanced. And when I come out here, you know, I want to bring my family out, but I want my son, my grandson to be more advanced, you know, in academics, but also technology is really important. So I'm trying to get involved with the technology industry and find out how we can make a difference, you know, and I'm wondering what kind of strategies would you put into place to incorporate more technology or, you know, more advanced technology at a younger age with our students?
How long was it directed to? And
Each of you.
so you have 20
Please.
seconds to start.
Well, in 20 years of teaching, cell phones were the bane of my existence. But now I understand we've come up with some new methods, and I've actually been part of it, of actually using cell phones in the classrooms with kids. And I think that can move all the way down to the elementary level. We can find a good use, a practical use for them.
Okay, well, go ahead.
So we need to understand that our children are digital natives. Being around technology for them is the same as having just been around a regular phone for us. It's something that's just always been. Really what we need is more bond money to update our infrastructure so that we can handle and have the bandwidth at the different sites, and as well as getting the technology into the classrooms.
Right, okay, thank you.
And I would add to funding and making sure that we're providing the appropriate resources technologically for our students, but also we have a fabulous community and private sector that we can tap into. Some really big businesses like Switch here in Clark County, and we need to be capitalizing on the relationships that we can build with entities like that.
Very nice. Good, thank
Next
you.
panelist, thank you.
My name is Sivatar. As a millennial and a recent college student, here's my question for you guys. It's simple yes or no, nothing too crazy. Do you believe political correctness is a problem on college campuses or in the education system in general?
Yes.
With students being politically correct to each other or in
In
the
general,
classroom?
if it's a problem at all, yes or
Oh,
no?
yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, Dr. Conquest.
Dr. Fred Conquest from CSN and Executive Director of the Citizens for Better America. Since I happen to deal with the results of the Clark County School District, it is my take that there's way too many administrators doing way too much busy work. How would you improve the system without any new funding?
Is that directed to all three, Doctor?
Yes.
And y'all have 20 seconds to respond.
One thing I want to know is thrown out the study that West Ed did that saddles teachers with 17 pages of evaluations rather than being in front of students and teaching. I don't know why we had to go to San Francisco to find out how to instruct or evaluate our teachers anyway.
Hold on.
So that's actually a state decision, State Board of Education. That is not the district that has made the teacher evaluation, so I'd like to correct that on the record. But we actually have the lowest per capita administrator ratio to students. It will in the state of Nevada, but in 99% of states. So I think the perception, unfortunately, is inaccurate.
And I would say that for a lot of folks who have done business with the district, there might be situations where we've encountered administrators that have backlogged the process. I think oftentimes we recruit for our administrators from within the classroom because it's the progression in for teachers, and that's not necessarily appropriate. Good teachers should remain in the classroom and not necessarily have to become administrators to proceed in their career.
Okay, next panelist, please.
Hi, Patrick Llewellyn. I have 3 kids in the Clark County school system. They're so technologically advanced. It really blows me away. What are we doing? What can be done? What would you implement to just grasp, mention switch, to really bring in just cutting edge technology and apply that in our school system?
Ms. Llewellyn, is that for all of them or?
All of them,
Okay,
please.
so you all have 20 seconds to respond. Who would like to go first, Mr. Llewellyn?
Please. Mallory.
Thank
Sure.
you.
I think that we need to make sure that, as Deanna mentioned, our students are coming to us and the digital world is all they've ever known. And that might not necessarily be the case for our teachers. So we need to make sure that teachers are well equipped with the tools and the professional development that they're going to need to create that appropriate learning environment for the students and feed into their interests and passions when it comes to technology.
One of the things that we have continued to do and will continue to do as a school district is have those STEM classes earlier and earlier, talking about engineering, technology, and math, science. All of those things relate. And if you go to a school, say Sylvester Junior High, and they have a whole class on STEM, we need to start pushing those earlier into the lower grades.
Well, Patrick, I'd have to say that Mallory is absolutely right. Teachers need instruction on how to use the new technology. You know, I retired 2 years ago, and I was one of those dinosaurs that I still have a cell phone sitting at home on my computer desk, and it's dead. And I don't even know the phone number. So, you know, we need instruction, and CSN is a really good place to start. I taught dual credit classes for CSN and CCSE. It's a good area.
Finish your thought, if you want.
Hi, Michael Broadway, Veterans in Politics. My question is for Mrs. Wright. I sat here 2 years ago and was on the panel, and we had went from number 49 to number 50 for the worst schools that year. And I guess my question is always to the incumbent, what have you done? Why shouldn't we throw you out and try somebody new?
Well, first of all, let me say that we're not 50th because there are states that are lower than us. We're closer to 38. But it also, you could find a study to make us be just about anywhere you want. Through Katie Haycock's research, and she's a national expert, she shows us as the fastest growing in math and reading, making great strides in closing the gap. The thing that people I don't think understand is we're registering about 3,000 kids a year. But yet this year we were cut $15 a child, but asked to do more. So if Nevada needs to step up and fund education at a rate that they want to see better results, you need to adequately fund education. The adequacy of funding in the state is not appropriate for the results that people are expecting.
Okay, that gives our panelists done. Is there anybody in the member of the audience who would like to? Okay, go ahead, state your name and direct your question who you want it to be, or if you want it at all three, if they all three, they get 20 seconds, correct?
Correct. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us here today. My name is Karen Steelman. I'm the Auxiliary Director with Veterans in Politics, and my question is about funding. I hear most administrators in government seats or candidates talking about we need more funding, we need more funding. And the other day I posed the question to a candidate that who mentioned that they'd like to dismantle the entire tax structure and rebuild it. So my question was, what would you do to dismantle the entire spending structure and rebuild it?
So that's for all three?
Yeah.
All right, so you get all 20 seconds. Who would you like to go first?
Could we start with Mr. Vaughan, please?
Okay.
I believe that the school district can make better use of its resources, maybe some cooperative use with the cities that we don't do, and that would infuse some extra money. I think that we probably need to look at a lot of spending through purchasing. I'm aware of some exorbitant prices for things that we could have bought at a school level much cheaper. I think there's a tremendous amount of waste.
So I just want to say that when you're outside looking in, those things seem to be, but as you can ask Kevin Child later, when you get into the system, that's not really how it works and that's not really what happens. But let me tell you a couple of things that are happening. We're actually moving towards a weighted formula, so that you saw a little bit of that this year when we got specific funding for different groups. The other one would be pushing the money towards the school, and that's what we're doing for this next year as well.
I would agree that we need to adequately fund education in this state, and compared to other states, we're just not doing that. At the same time, I understand the need for us to go back and make sure that we're using the money that we're given now appropriately. And I can say that across the entirety of my professional career, I have always worked on grant programs and how to manage those budgets. And we can't go back to our funder and ask for more money. We have to do the job of what we've got, and I've done a very good job of that exactly.
Thank you.
All right, I have one more time for one more question for the audience.
Well, it's going to be a tough one. Stephen Dempsey, host for Your Wake Up Call on RadioTribune.com. Kevin Wall had a segment yesterday on Friday about ELL, and I admit that I apologize. I had no idea what that would even mean. It's English Language Learners. My question has to do with what each of you plan to do to keep the parents and the children from being penalized by the English language learners, for instance, that have been here 5 years in this program, instead of the Rose Stone, I think it is, a program that promises to teach an English language, or teach a language to 5 people for $199. The governor has spent,
So you're going to have to cook up your question.
tens of millions of dollars. We still have people here that aren't coming to learn English language. They've been in the program for 5 years. They're coming to take their land back.
Sir?
How would you keep the parents and the children that want to learn from being punished by this misuse of funds?
So is that directed to all of them, sir?
It's not really fair for 20 seconds, but
Well, can you redirect it real quick for yes or no? How's that?
let's let the lady that's on the board currently respond. Give her the whole minute, please.
Okay, thank you, sir. So, Mr. Wright, Trustee Wright, you have it.
Sure. So I understand the question is, how are we not going to penalize the families that come and want to learn English versus the ones that...
Well, or the ones that are paying for the whole system.
So there's actually, I guess, several different groups in that question. We have English language learners that are white, that have families in this country for years and years, but they don't come with the academic language that they need to succeed in school. So when you're talking about English language learners, you're not just talking about Hispanics. You're also not just talking about Hispanics because we have a lot of immigrants that come here. We support about 168 different languages in this district. So, you know, a lot of the focus will be on Spanish, but we really have it across the board. The second thing is when you have a student that has been in the program for a certain amount of time, again, it depends on how well they understood their first native language as to how well they do in their second language. So that's a very complex, I would be happy to tell you more after, but that's the best I can do in less than a minute. Okay, thanks.
Kevin, can I just get 10 seconds?
Hold on 1 second. I'm gonna give you guys a minute why you guys want to be elected, okay? So you can address anything you want. You have a minute. So who would like to go first? Raise your hand.
I'll do it.
Okay.
One thing about the English language learner, my second year at Green Valley High School, since I was licensed to comprehensive social studies and English, they gave me 23 students who spoke no English, and at the end of the first year, 21 of them tested proficient. So I basically did myself out of a job. It's in knowing how to do it, and what we learn in college is not necessarily the way to put these learners together and the way to teach them. The other thing is, I spent 20 years with the school district. I'm also a Navy veteran, and I think there are a lot of things that can apply from teaching and also from the military to enhance education. Students that I had that didn't know whether they wanted to go into college or whether they wanted to enter a CTE program, I recommended military. So it's a good place to learn a trade. I have to admit I was Navy, but I recommended Air Force, more practical trade. And I have done a number of kids that did that. But I do have to also admit, I've done mostly the higher end kids.
Okay, time. Next.
Sure, I'll go. So my name's Mallory Levins. I'm running for school board trustee in District A. I am a product of this school district, as are my parents and my grandparents have been in this county for decades. I come from a long line of educators. I have taught ranging from pre-kindergarten all the way to the college level. I'm a math instructor at Nevada State College, and I'm also a college access professional at UNLV. So I'm working with K-12 students on a regular basis, focusing on their long-term goals of college and career. And I've seen some holes along the pipeline, and that's really why I want to get in there, get on that board, and make a difference, because I've experienced it as a student. I expect that I will likely experience it as a mother here. I'm expecting my first child, and I've got a lot to fight for, and I'm willing to put in the time and the hard work to get it done.
Okay. You may go.
So, as the current trustee, one of the things I would say is we are in the midst of so many changes. We have the funding change, the way the governor and the legislature are going to be funding education. We are in the process of changing our governance structure between the board and the superintendent. We just put into our ELL master plan, and that's going to be going into effect. We are continuing to revise policies and as fast literally as we can get them through the system when we see a need for correction. This is really not the time for on-the-job training or new people to come in and try and get acclimated. It really takes, even though you think you know, when you get in there, you really have to have a lot of training to understand how the school district works.
All right, that will conclude Trustee Clark County Trustee District A. Thank you, Mallory Levins. Thank you, Richard Vaughan, and thank you, Trustee Deanna Wright. Give them a round of applause. We can't forget, here we have our sponsors, Mr. Scott Gormley, owner of the Rhythm Kitchen, Ron Q Foundations, Paul Padilla, owner of Paul Padilla Law Offices, Michael Broadway, Robert Stoffel Law Group, Brett Jones, owner of the Real Water, which is in your hands right now. Show your water, everybody. Yep, we're online. And Mr. George Carson, owner of AllTalkRadio.net, and of course, Mr. Kevin Wall, owner of Battleborn Radio. Thank you very much, candidates, for coming out. Are you going to be around to answer some questions? Great job.